What's up, everybody? This is it. This is Wireframe Systems. Get this section wrong and your website will be really, really bad. So please take this very seriously. Please go through this with as much intention as possible. We're going to walk through how to wireframe, a lot of different wireframe types of different frameworks and copy and all these different things that are going to be very impactful in making your website convert better. So with that, let's go ahead and dive right into how we can wireframe. All right, everybody, we are talking about wireframes today. We're going to break open the important pieces of content and formulas and different things inside of the pages on your website. Now, wireframing is a beautiful thing in my heart. I hold it very, very closely because I think out of every possible thing that you could have to have any kind of impact on the functionality or the purpose of your website, wireframes might be one of the most critical. I have seen dozens of amazing websites, probably hundreds of amazing looking websites that are beautiful, that are really, really cool, but they come to us because they don't work. They are not converting. I mean, they might show, hey, SEO is great. We got tons of traffic. The website is getting really high speeds on page speeds and all that stuff. And they're like, man, this is great. It looks beautiful. We hired a huge design firm to make these awesome, concepts for us. And it's built really, really well. But all of that is just, I think we talked in the past about qualitative versus quantitative. That's very quantitative things that you can do to check off the list. The qualitative aspect of whether or not a website is going to convert is 100% psychological. It is literally playing with the psychology of how people perceive you, how people are experiencing you, and that is done through page flow, through wireframe, through content, and how people are to be kind of exploring the pages on the website. So when we get into how to wireframe, we're really thinking about how people think. And in fact, that could probably be the entire concept of this video, is just talking about the way that people think through problems and think through issues. I know we've established in the past, we've talked about different things about people who are maybe problem aware or solution aware, and just that simple switch in mindset is going to be a complete difference in whether or not we should include specific kinds of content in a content wireframe. So wireframes are not to be skipped over, right? And I think a lot of us want to jump through wireframes. We want to skip this section and get to the next section, which is designing, because that's really where things start to take shape. But again, I can't tell you how incorrect that line of thinking is, that this is probably the most important thing that you're going to do right now. So how are we going to actually do this? Okay. Well, one of the first things we have to start to address is to look at what people need to know when they're on a specific page. So when we're going to go through and wireframe, again, this is it's like skeleton drawings. It's like stick figure drawings of your website pages. We are not looking at the entire website here. We're looking at a single page. All right. And you're going to think through this process the exact same way, regardless of what page you are working on. And this could be the same for landing pages. It can be the same for homepage, anything like that. You're going to want to make sure that these answers are addressed, right? So you have 2 seconds to answer these questions at any point in any page of your website, right? It does not matter if it's the homepage or if it's a different page down the road. We have 2 seconds to answer these questions. Number 1, what do you do? Or what does this do? So if I'm on a product page, I need to know, what does this do? I don't want to sit on a page that has this headline that's like, be the difference, or what's the one that comes to us all the time from tech companies? They always say like, oh, we're a data-driven resource for a cloud-driven world. Like, that doesn't tell me anything. I don't have, I could take that sentence and apply it to dozens of industries. So anything that is not literally telling me what it is that you do is a complete misstep in this process, okay? And I will get into drag out arguments with people if you want to go down this rabbit hole of, yeah, but that's not clever, or that's not cute enough, or that's talking down. We're at like a level 12 of on a scale of 1 to 10. We're at a level 12 of how technical our product is, and you want us to talk down here at this low level, like talking to kindergartners. Yeah, I do. I need you to, because we as humans are like, we're coming to a website because we are looking to get away from whatever it is we're currently doing. It's rare that we're going to a website because we really, really are just super interested in all these different things. Now, that does happen, but usually we are checking out from something, and website exploration or going down funnels or different things like that are not our primary thing that we're trying to accomplish that day. Now, we treat websites as businesses. A lot of the time we feel like that's what it should be, and that's how we should talk to our clients. And maybe that's accurate to an extent when we get like deep into buyer's journey and they're like really diving into stuff. But when we're talking about when people hit your website initially, no way. Perfect example, we've had a number of clients who have been in biological laboratory space or DNA space or all these different very deep scientific products and chemical labs and all these different things. And when they want to talk about what it is that they do, and we're going through workshops, you can imagine they are using terminology that they feel is very appropriate because it's how they talk about things with their clients when they're actually working with them. Okay. It makes sense, but that's not the way that you interact with companies on your first approach with them. And probably even your second, third, or fourth approach with them. That company needs to really talk at a level that the client is going to understand, like that. And if I have to like dig deep back into my brain to think about, okay, what does that mean? Okay, chemistry, biology, like shutting all that stuff off at an intrinsic 2-second, like lizard brain, reptilian brain level, I need, boom, immediate knowledge of what it is that you do. Okay. One of my tangents, sorry, went down. Hopefully it gives a little bit more context, but we have to really, really talk to the level of the people that are going to be perceiving this. And remember, we as humans, we are, yes, we can be as knowledgeable. We can have all these degrees. We can have all this background information, but we are not always living at this level. If we want to reach us at a subconscious primitive level, we have to talk at that level. Now, that does not mean we talk like cavemen to each other, but it does mean we have to get down to the root and say things very clearly, very plainly, very simply to capture the attention. And then we can dive in and provide more details. Okay. We've got 2 seconds. Okay. What do you do? Number one. Number two, do I need it? Is it something that I need to have? Not only do I just want it, but do I need it? I need you to make a compelling case to me of why whatever it is that this page is trying to get across is something I need right now. Could be a product, could just be a general homepage, could be a sales page or like a landing page. In order to get someone to sign up for a webinar. Do I need this? I need to know in 2 seconds if that is the case. Okay. Number three, should I spend my time here? Big one. That's a really big kicker, because I don't want to go to a web page and spend an immense amount of time going through all this different information and then only to find out like, it's not really for me. It's not really that important. I don't really need to spend a bunch of time at this section here. So does this resonate with something that I would actually want to spend a decent amount of time to engage with over a long period of time, and so on? And then number four, how much will this cost? Okay, this is not necessarily how much will this cost in money all the time either, everybody. Like, this is also how much will this cost in energy for me to engage with this? How much will this cost in my time? How much will this cost in my resources of my team, and so on? So, not always are we looking for how much does this cost of a product to buy. When I'm asking people to download a landing page or a lead magnet on a landing page, or like a checklist or a template or something, how much will this cost is not even just, okay, it's free, great. Is this going to be something that I can utilize? Is this something that I need? Is this something that my team is going to have to spend a lot of time working through? Okay. Now, the next thing that we want to think about are ways to accomplish this. All right. What are the different kinds of ways, the different opportunities that we have to accomplish answering those questions? In many cases, right off the bat, we might think we just have to put a bunch of information together. We might think we have to put a bunch of outlines and a lot of product descriptions, a lot of detail so that people can dive in and answer or get the answers to all these different questions they have floating around in the back of their mind. However, remember, we got 2 seconds, right? We need something that's powerful, that's right in your face, and it's going to tell you whether or not you feel confident with those 4 questions that we're trying to get across. So how do we accomplish this? Well, number 1, the best way to resonate with a stranger in this situation, a prospect, the best way to get across to them is to literally tell them their problems. If I can literally just tell you, hey, guess what? I know you have this exact problem. Perfect example. I'm a dad. My kids are just now exiting the stage of like being little tiny kiddos, and they're starting to be a little bit more self-sufficient. So, back in a couple years ago, anybody that would come up to me and start to talk about, oh my gosh, you're a dad of toddlers, of little kids. Like, man, you probably don't get much sleep, do you? And you're running a business. So you probably are just like constantly running around from one thing to the next and putting other fires out. I'm going to immediately be like, this guy knows me. He knows exactly where I'm at. And subconsciously, I feel like I'm letting my guard down and I feel a little bit more connection with that person. All right. You as a brand can do this exact process on your website by doing the same thing, by stating the problems very specifically that that person has as they're on that specific page. That could be for the homepage. It could be for the product pages. It doesn't really matter. It could be for any page, but calling out the problems that page serves to solve and that product or that service serves to solve, you are literally getting in the brain and of the people that are on that page, and you're starting to break down and acknowledge the little things that they have kind of in the forefront, preventing them from achieving the success or the goals that they're trying to work towards. Next, we look at solutions or value propositions. These are really nice, especially after stating the problems. So if I know, okay, you're calling me out because I have this problem and this problem. Yes, I absolutely have that problem. How do you know that? Thank you so much. But then you immediately follow that up with a solution. Well, here's how you actually fix it. Here's 3 ways that you will solve that. Or our product actually makes that issue, a thing of the past, right? And then state why. That is called a value proposition. It is a solution statement, and it helps by providing background to the problem that we just had, and you're slowly knocking that out little by little. Then we want to provide authority and some background as to why you should even listen to us. Why should you listen to me? So, I'm telling you the problems that you have, and I'm also showing you the solution to solve those problems. And then the next question that I'm going to immediately start having, if I'm having a conversation like this, we're just one-on-one having a discussion over coffee, I'm going to be like, how do you know? Like, why should I even trust what you're saying? And so at that point, we want to think about adding things on a website around authority. So these can be, I've been in business for 25 years and we've solved all of these problems with 2,000 plus companies who were just like you. And then we're going to state some of those companies. We've won this prestigious award that client's going to know about X number of times. And so providing authority in that way, or even from an empathetic standpoint and say, literally, I've been there, dude. I was a dad of toddlers too. Totally know it. And here's how I got my day, my calendar, my agenda in order by doing these XYZ things. And so that authority, that background is not only, it's like, who have you worked with? What logos? Why should I trust you? But it's also empathetic and saying, yeah, I totally get it, man. I've been there. I know what that's like. Then the other option that we have, and the other probably a really important thing that I think a lot of people skip over, is about invalidating competitors. Okay, this one to me is actually very important because we can do it without being shady. We don't want to be, I mean, maybe you do want to like throw really nasty shade at the other people that you're working with. But what are the ways that we can invalidate the other competitors who have solutions to what it is that we are trying to do as well? So the way I like to look at this is we have this massive canyon that we're trying to cross. We want to go from one side to the other side. And there are all these bridges everywhere, right? All the way down this canyon. There's bridges all up and down it. And our bridge is this one particular bridge. We want everybody that's on one side of the canyon, which is where they're at today, and then success is the other side of the canyon. We want everybody to go through our specific bridge to get there. So what do we do, or how do we think about that? Well, we're going to make ours look really appealing. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that and through the different things that I just mentioned. But we also kind of want to burn the other bridges a little bit too. And so we want to try and invalidate the other solutions in a way that it's going to say like, I know you've tried this and it didn't work, or I know you're currently doing this, and these are probably the experiences that you've had. And with us, we're not going to worry about that. That's not a thing that we have to deal with because it simply doesn't happen, or here's how we fix it. All right. So we're invalidating other competitors. And then the other thing that we're going to be doing is providing compelling success stories. Huge. You can do this through a lot of different ways, but this is a huge way of getting prospects to trust you and to move through your website and pages, because people naturally don't want to be sold to. Like I could sell you on why I think you should work with Web Canopy Studio and build a website with us. And some of you would actually make that decision based off the conversation, whether it's because it's you like what I'm saying, you like the company, whatever. However, if I actually put other people who have been in your exact shoes, who are just like you, and I had them do the talking for me, and you talk to some of my clients and they were out there saying, oh my gosh, John at Web Canopy Studio, let me tell you the experience we had. That will sell my services 10 times faster and 10 times more than me talking about it. And so it's not always easy to just have people that we can say, oh, hey, hop on this phone call and talk to these clients for me. It's also a great way to lose clients pretty quickly by burning bridges there. But what we can do is provide success stories. We could provide case studies. We could provide even just simple short testimonials. We could provide different ways for people to use video and all these different opportunities that people can share their experience and do the selling for you. Okay. And that is how we're going to make a very, very compelling website. Hey, what's up, everyone? Thank you for checking out this episode. At the end of each episode, I want to go through and give a quick recap of the major talking points and the things that I really want to make sure that we drive home. This is part one of our wireframe discussion, and it's really just kind of the initial approach of what it is that we're looking at and how we're going to think about specific ways to answer questions. In next week's episode, we're going to talk about wireframes part two, and we're going to break down an actual example of wireframes and go through these section by section. So, number one, the first thing we want to make sure that we're doing is that we're not rushing this process. We have to be very intentional with what we're doing. The majority of the performance of your website success is going to come from this kind of stuff. So not necessarily thinking about SEO at this point and design and that performance is totally different. This is about the performance of how well does the website convert? What kind of copy is going to be the most impactful here? Number two, we have to make sure that we have great answers within 2 seconds to the really specific questions that people have floating around in the back of their mind every time they come to your website. So what are those different ways that we can help get in front of those answers and start to, subconsciously get behind that and really provide value? And then number three, how can we get really clear on the important things that are going to have an impact on whether or not somebody's going to take the action that you want them to? So we're going to do that through things with like problem statements, solution value propositions, authority propositions, and so on, and validating competitors, and talking about success stories. So all that being said, if you found this information helpful, we have a website accelerator program, which will allow you to work through all this content and more with my team. We have templates, resources, all the different things that you could ever need to build your website or make your website perform better. Feel free to go to webcanopystudio.com/start to learn more. Can't wait to chat with you, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.